ladies and gentlemen, to Fuji in Japan, where tonight we have the final round. Round 15 of the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 Series. And with me tonight, I have my co-host, Mr. Mark Duggan. How are you, Mark?
Very good, John. Thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Finally reached the end of the season. We've had some interesting results throughout the season, but I think we're going to be quite surprised when we have a look at the grid a bit later. But we might start off by having a look at this Fuji circuit. Of course, the vets were here earlier on in the season, but the boys tonight are racing a slightly different layout to what vets did. So Fuji, of course, is on the foothills of Mount Fuji in Japan, and it has one of the longest straightaways you've got in most racing series, with a big long straightaway coming down into the aptly named first corner. And then after first corner, we duck down the hill into second, sweeping up into Coca-Cola. And then after Coca-Cola, we go through turns 4 and 5, otherwise known as 100R, and then up into the hairpin. Then coming out of the hairpin, you've got to be a bit careful with the amount of drive you get. And then you need to then power it up through turn 8 as we come through turn 9, which is 300R into Dunlop, where we do what's known as the chicane layout up through 11 and 12. And then we run up into the aptly named 13th corner. And then we go through turns 14, 15 and nets, and 16 is our last corner of Panasonic, and we run back down the main straightaway. Some of the big talking points from vets when vets ran at this circuit was particularly between Dunlop and Panasonic was the large sausage curbs, particularly coming out of turn 13. You get on those sausage curbs under that ripple strip there, you will have some severe car damage, which will really hurt going down the straight, and a few boys even blew engines. But it's new to iRacing. It's a circuit that's been around for the season. I think we're in for some really great racing, to be honest, Mark.
Yeah, I think we will be too, John. I haven't turned a lap at this place. I own the track, but I haven't driven here. So I'll be interested to see how this layout with the chicane goes. I know the Vets boys earlier on in the season struggled somewhat. Some didn't, some did, and I think we'll probably see the same tonight.
Absolutely. And we might just have a quick look at our championship since it is the last round, and of course tonight being 2 sprint races as well, so there's still 300 points up for grabs, so I've been told. But at the moment we've got Adam Briggs, who's clear out in front by 230 points, so it's going to be hard. But this includes our drop rounds that we're looking at the moment. And of course we've got Blake Warboys sitting in second after the drops, which is quite fantastic to see, sitting there on 2,400 points. James Chaston, if not too far behind, in third. Jamie Dyke, only another further 27 points back, still within striking distance. Damien Johnstone, who's not with us next season, and I don't think he's with us tonight actually, because he's got work commitments now on a Tuesday. Cameron G. Jones starting rear of grid. Harrison Dengate sitting in 7th in the championship. It's fantastic to see. Craig Schultz from 9.5 in there. And rounding out our top 10, we've got the People's Champion, Jamie Mcknight, and Blake Delaney. So it is still a lot to be fought for tonight, particularly for, I believe, 2nd and 3rd on the podium. I think anybody basically down to about Cameron G. Jones is still a half a chance of getting in there. Mark?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, John. I think Jamie Dyke is one I'm going to watch tonight, because he's like a dog with a bone when he's got something, you know, his sights set on something. So I think Jamie will be one to watch tonight. Adam Briggs, stand out this season. He's just been just the top performer week in, week out. Blake's done well to fight his way back into second, and good to see James Justin in third.
Yes, Banter Alliance boys will be happy having James up there, and Warboys, a bit of a rough season. If you remember last week at Sandown, he ended up parked on top of the tyre wall, which was fairly costly for points. Anyway, moving forward, we'll have a quick look at our starting positions. We'll go to our qualifying times. And tonight we have on pole, of course, we have Blake Warboys. And after that, we have alongside him, Corey McFarlane, our Season 2 champion. And then in third place, we have our champion-elect, Adam Briggs. So it's quite fitting to go 1, 2, 3. And then, of course, the man Mark said that everyone wants to keep an eye on tonight is Jamie Dyke sitting there in fourth with his teammate Blake Delaney and Christian Smart from Synergy Sim Racing on row 3. James Chastaneef is a little bit further back on row 4 with Ben Morris from 9.5 Sim Sport. Hayden Norris qualifying really well in the top 10 from Riot Sim Racing. Great to see. And alongside him, we've got Fishy's Michael Whiting. And then in the next row, we've got Synergy Sim Racing's Kenny Ladder, followed by Craig Schultz, sharing that row with him from 9.5 Sim Sport. Row 7 sees Paul Young from the Banter Alliance with David Kirby, battle of the Vets boys back there. And, of course, Jamie Mcknight, the People's Champion, sitting right behind those guys in 15th with Matt Stewart from Vast Motorsport. Row 9, and this is a surprise, the man who's sitting 7th in the championship, Harrison Dengate, all the way back on row 9 in 17th, alongside Alan Dawson from Riot Sim Racing. Matty Scholes from Riot Sim Racing in row 10 with Matt Whitaker from Calamari Racing. And then Roy Clark is actually, I believe that's not the right team name for Matt. My apologies, Matt. And Roy Clark is row 11, and Banter Alliance is alongside Roy Clark. We have Ash Barella. Simon Mesamo, new driver of the 9.5 roster. He lines up tonight on row 12 and 23rd beside Brady Baldwin from High Octane Sim Sports. Row 13 is Fishy Motorsports' Dave Coleman alongside Cameron G. Jones, the first of our rear grid starters, with Riot's David Nash in 27th. 28th, we have Stefan Lawrence and Chris Ireland from Send It Sim Sports sitting all the way back in 29th. So we have a slightly smaller field tonight, but I don't think that's going to deter everybody from what I think is going to be some great racing, Mark.
Yeah, it is a slightly smaller field, but it is a longer season than the regular iRacing season, so it's always seems to be the way that people kind of tail off towards the end of the season. And like you said, I don't think it's going to deter the boys from having a real red hot go tonight.
Absolutely, and a big shout out to Will Wilson in the chat joining us tonight. And of course, we've got a few people already out there, so let us know you're supporting. We'll try and make sure we let you know how they're getting on for the evening. And I just think between Corey, Adam and Blake, we're in for a cracking race with Jamie Dyke. I think he'll be trying to muscle into that top 3.
Yeah, without a doubt, Jamie Dyke definitely got the pace to run with them boys. He's a good driver and he's a smart driver. So I'm expecting Jamie to be really kind of crunching numbers and doing everything he can to work out where he needs to be to try and get on the podium for the final points championship.
Absolutely, I think it's going to be pretty cracking to see what happens with him. And of course, we've got the likes of Dengate battling for that top 10 position all the way back in 17th. A couple of quick guys in Cameron G. Jones all the way back there in the rear of grid as well. I think we're in for a cracking race. And of course, it's got that long straightaway down to turn 1 that is going to see these guys absolutely having to be crucial in getting their starts spot on.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't driven this track, but I know a couple of my teammates talked about how long the straight was and how important it was to get an exit out of turn 16 and set up your run down the straight. So, and it's a fairly long run into turn 1, 2 off the start line. So, like you said, getting your jump correct is going to be crucial, and then positioning yourself for turn 1. But like you say, like anywhere in the mid pack is fraught with danger because everybody's trying to make positions, because that's the best time to make ground is off the start.
Absolutely, and it's going to be very crucial that you make that ground. And I think we're going to see a bit of slipstreaming down this straight as well. And don't forget, big shout out to Pete Kelleher too from supporting the boys from SSR. Don't forget too, like I mentioned earlier, those sausage curbs and ripple strips can do a lot of damage to the car. And I think when I raced here in Vets earlier in the year, I suffered from blown engine in the end from running over one of those curbs, which slowed the car right down. So there is that factor to come into it as well. These guys have got to be pinpoint and precise all night through 2 sprint races. You know, boys are starting to grit up.
Yeah, I think the sprint format tonight will make the boys a little bit hungry early on as well. So everybody will be trying to, make as much ground as they can as quickly as they can. I'm surprised the sausage curbs blew your engine, but like I said, I haven't turned a lap around here, so I'll be definitely keeping an eye on when they get there.
Let's just say when I went back later and looked, I had front two wheels were off the ground, bouncing over it. I'm sure someone's going to find it. Trust me.
Anton, but Dyke Pasquale at Sandown, huh?
Pretty much. You know me. If there's a way to wreck a car, I'll work it out. As we've still got a minute or so to go here, so the boys start coming onto the grid and waiting for what looks like War Boys and Briggs to pop in. So just War Boys. So I'm not sure where War Boys is. Lost his cam, so hopefully it's not a power outage. That wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
Thanks, Dad.
And I think we're probably going to be going in about 45 seconds.
I certainly hope Blake hasn't dropped out.
Like I said, we've had him on the webcam. The webcam's gone black, so that's usually not a good sign. That's why we've still got 30 seconds. I'll do another scroll down. His camera's coming back to GoPro, so I'm not sure what he's doing. Hopefully not running around after the camera. Camera's back. Hitting the bloody race, mate. He's back in the rig. And I expect to see him pop in. As there he is. He's in now. We've got him back. We'll go back to that screen. Come back down on the grid. Jump on with our pole man. The lights are on. We're about to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds. Lights are out. We are away. Looks like a little bit of a slow start from War Boys. Looks like Briggs and McFarlane have got the drop on him here as we come down into turn 1. Corey McFarlane's going to lead out. Briggs going on the inside. War Boys all the way out wide. A few of the others out wide in the back there. Looks like Matty Scholes has been involved in an incident. We'll come back to that later. Corey McFarlane has got the jump and a half here. He's already 3 car lengths ahead of War Boys. War Boys working his way back in. And then we have Adam Briggs, Jamie Dyke holding station with Delaney, Morris, Chastaneeth, Ladder, Whitey moving up a couple of spots with Schultz as well. So a cracking little start there from Corey McFarlane. And
a few incidents at the back of the field here. Guys getting loose on the brakes and cars colliding, but that was a great jump from Corey McFarlane.
Absolutely. And he's already out to a second in front of War Boys here. War Boys under all sorts of pressure here from Briggs in front of him. As we jump onto the nose of Adam Briggs, War Boys with the lock-up. Working his way through. As we come into this back section here, big look up the inside. Oh, it's a tap! Onto the last corner, a little bit of a tap. War Boys out onto the ripple strips out wide. Briggs nicely tucking in beside him. David Coleman's had an incident at the back there as well. We'll come back to that one. And Logan Barnett's mega start from Corey. Yeah, I have to agree there, mate. He's long gone here. But these two.
Corey, absolutely blinding start.
And Adam Briggs having a look on the inside of War Boys again here. As we jump cameras, Jamie Dyke buying into this here. We've got a great little battle building up. War Boys going back a little bit. Hopefully not too much damage from that slight tap that he got earlier. But Briggs is away now. Jamie Dyke tucking in behind War Boys. So this is where the battle is. Jamie Dyke trying to get himself into the top 3. Chastity all the way back in 7th. So Dyke probably looking to try and get himself onto the podium here to get the extra boost of points. And we might just...
Be interesting to see if Adam Briggs can claw back some of that ground he's lost to Corin McFarlane.
Of course, might just go back, have a quick look at one or two of these incidents from our start. We might jump on with Matty Scholes. He called it in the race control a second ago. So Matty Scholes looks like he's going to get caught in the middle here with 3 to 4 wide. Not much room. And Scholes gets a little tap. Looks like one of the fishy boys. One of the send it cast through. And there we go. He's got a drive through for Matty Whitaker for a collision there with the 605. The other one we'll have a quick look at, of course, is Banter Alliance's Roy Clark. And it looks like Roy's going to go around the outside of all this. And he's got nowhere to go as well. So he was a victim of the same incident as we'll go back to live picks. So we've got Briggs, Warboys, Dyke, Delaney, Morris, all these guys all sitting in each other's draft here. Warboys.
Yeah, I mean, the big long straight is good if you're drafting one car in front, but if he's drafting somebody, it really makes no difference to you.
Nah, you just become part of that long train. So have a quick look back through the pack a little bit as well. Harrison Dengate's worked his way up into 13th. He's already up 4 spots.
Yeah, Simon Mesmo up, new driver with us. He's up 8 spots already tonight. Brady Baldwin up 8 spots. Cameron Jones, who we know pretty well. He's a regular in the series. He's a very quick driver and he's an all-round good guy. And I've had a lot of fun with Cameron over the years. He's up 8 spots as well.
Absolutely, these boys doing quite well here. Cameron Jones, of course, one of the other rear grid starters of Chris Island, as you mentioned. Some good battles going on all the way through. David Nash and Chris Schultz.
You got a black side contact on left one.
And as you can see, this chicane's very much a bit of a stopper as they roll through it. Then we come up through the 13th corner there. My favourite ripple strips just out to the side. These boys not scared to race side by side, which is great to see.
A lot more elevation on this track than I realised after watching the broadcast.
It's a nice little undulating circuit. And of course, you follow along at home. Let us know who you're following. We'll try and keep an eye on them. As we might jump back on Warboys and Briggs here to see how that battle's getting on. Jamie Dyke nicely tucked in behind. Chastity still sitting in 7th. Hasn't gained any spots during this first race.
Sorry, 63 admin penalty was 83. So,
so
will be as part of your
jump on the cam there with Warboys.
Adam Briggs is not really clawing any ground back, if anything. Corey's making time on everybody else. So Corey's got an enormous amount of pace at the moment. Adam does have the championship in his lap, and I'm sure he's thinking about not throwing anything away at this stage.
Oh, absolutely. I think you just got to settle in and just get the job done. I think with the lead that he had, I think he's just got to finish where he is in this race, and he can pack it up and go home in the second.
He might not pack it up and go home. He might give it. Might have more of a go, I think.
Absolutely. No, it's been a exceptional young driver, and watching him achieve what he's done this season's been fantastic for us to watch, and I hope everyone at home's enjoyed watching him do it as well. This Corey's now out to a 3.7 lead. And let's quickly check with Chastity. Chastity's still sitting in 7th, not quite getting up behind Ben Morris in front of him. Like you said,
you really don't want to drop out of the draft on this train here, otherwise you'll end up in no man's land.
Yeah, you can sort of see a little bit further back there with Hayden Norris has dropped back a little bit. Chris Island coming through the pits. I'm not sure, I think that might have been that drive-through, I think.
Blake Delaney playing a bit of a rear gunner here for Jamie Dyke, I think. That's what teammates are for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, of course, the boys have all started with 96 litres, so there's no pit stops for race 1. And then race 2, they got unlimited fuel with 1 compulsory stop. So it'd be interesting to see how that all pans out in the second race, how they go about their fuel strategies. But this race, absolute shootout, as we're on lap 5 of 28.
Yeah, looking from the outside in here, looks like a typical Japanese track, very technical.
What we might do, we might jump on board with Briggsy and do a lap as he comes back onto the start-finish line. As you can see, Corey McFarlane, 4.2 seconds up the road, the little black dot, he is gone. So, of course, the long straightaway, which we've already talked about, we'll jump on the dashboard here. So you're up into 6th, full speed, got a lapped car coming out of pits here, all the way back, down to 2nd, back to 80 kilometres an hour, nicely around the hairpin, use a little bit of excess curb out to the left there. Get on the gas now, get it back up, 210, back into 4th. Watch the cone, just get inside it, nicely stay off the ripple strip as we go through 300R now, sorry, 100R now. You just got to balance the throttle in 4th there. Try and make sure you use less amount of the track as you can. Break it back into 2nd, get it back down to 100 Ks and come through the hairpin. Back on the gas, feed it on gently as you still got the car unbalanced and turning. As we come through 100R now, up into Dunlop. Of course, these boys running the chicane, so they'll be a lot slower through here than what we were. So back to Firth, back into 60 Ks an hour. Through the chicane, just feather it through in 2nd. Get back on the gas up to 13. As we come through 13R, a little bit off camber. Try and get it on the cone. Try not to go wide out onto the yellow sausages there, which he didn't do. He did well. Come through the second last corner here, nicely balanced. Another one where we've got an off camber. And then we come back up to the hill for the final corner up at Panasonic and nicely tuck it on the inside. And then you want to get as much drive as you can coming out here because a good exit means you're going to get good speeds coming down the straight as he works it up through 5th, 230 Ks, 240, 250, into 6th, 260, 270, nearly 280. Which was pretty well much about the same speeds the boys were doing in the vets at Nords on Thursday night. Different gearing, of course, different setup for that track. But that's a lap around Fuji.
Typical Adam Briggs lap there, very clean, very precise, very good inputs on the wheel and throttle, brake. No errors, just nice, clean, steady laps.
Absolute precision, which is great to see. And we might have a quick look back through. We've got a couple of close battles. Hayden Norris, Michael Whiting, and tucked in behind this one. These boys putting pressure on Kenny Latta in front of him. So Kenny, who is up 3 spots from where he started, doing reasonably well. Under a little bit of pressure here, though, from Norris. Norris having a little bit of a look. Has come into Dunlop. And we might just jump back. Cameron G. Jones is now 11 spots into 15th. It's a great drive by him. Of course, Christian Smart there looking a bit battled and it's getting tapped again. Smarty's been spun. We might just have another quick look at that one. We'll go to the Supercheap Auto replay.
Christian locked up there, heading into the chicane.
Yeah.
Left Cameron Jones nowhere to go.
Absolutely. Not much else to look at there. And Cameron Jones still doing quite well. One of the 9.5 boys are going a bit wide at the back. And Kenny Latta still under all sorts of pressure from Hayden Norris. So a great little battle. And you can see Dengate back in the background there. He's up 5 spots into 12th. So it's a great little recovery from starting 17th on the grid.
Surprised to see Kenneth Latta struggle so much here. Kenneth's usually one of our front runners and a very solid driver. Had an awful lot of bad luck in recent weeks. But just seems to be struggling with the
Unfortunately,
layout.
the neck cone involved in that, never no further action.
Of course, that's not a track we've raced at for many years. This is the first season it's been in the iRacing platform. So catching a few of the guys out, I think, in terms of learning the track and getting it down pat. We might just jump up and have a look how Jamie Dyke's getting on. Been we were talking about before. Might be on the bit of a move. Chasty back in 7th, Dyke in 4th. Could be the battle here for 3rd place on the championships table. But Jamie doing very well. He's only 0.5 behind Warboys in front of him. Warboys still nicely tucked up behind Briggs. So Warboys is probably doing the championship thing too, like you're saying, Mark. He's just there. If I tuck up behind him, don't have to push him.
Yeah, that's right. These boys, you know, well aware of their position in the championship, and they're all smart racers. They've all been doing this for a long time, so they know what's at stake, and none of them want to give away any position to their fellow competitors. So it's make the most of what you got in front of you, and don't throw anything away.
Absolutely. Might jump back, have a look at Banter Alliance's Paul Young, as he has a bit of a look up the inside here of Michael Whiting, who's in front of a Kenneth Ladder that I think just had a lock up going into the turn 1. Hasn't allowed Dengate to close the gap too much though. So there's a few battles around the place. We might jump down and have a quick look at Craig Schultz. Putting a bit of pressure on Asperella, driving the Commodore. I'm not sure what the go is there. He qualified in the Falcon. Sorry, in the Mustang. Another one selecting the wrong car. That's all right. But he's under all sorts of pressure here from Craig Schultz.
Yeah, Craig qualified a bit better than his position at the moment, I think. And then he just got a little bit, I watched him up the start, he got a little bit sideways about halfway through the lap and had the car like at 90 degrees at one stage, and yeah, just got tapped by a couple of guys and straightened himself up. But Craig, I'm sure, will do a good job and see where he can be in race 2, because I think he's going to struggle to get back any too many more places in this race.
No, I think it's definitely going to be a tough battle. Might just jump back up again with Kenny Ladder. He's still in that epic battle with Hayden Norris. Oh, sorry, not Hayden Norris, with Michael Whiting. Coming down the end of the straight here. Well, we've got Dengate now starting to latch onto the back of these boys too, getting a bit of a sniff as he looks behind Paul Young.
Very interesting little battle pack, that one. A lot of boys fighting amongst themselves again for positions in the top 10 of the championship. Absolutely.
Everything to play for. Of course, if you're following along at home, don't forget, jump in the chat, let us know you're following. We'll try and keep an eye on how they're getting on for you. But Kenny Ladder here under all sorts of pressure from the likes of Michael Whiting, Paul Young, Harrison Dengate behind him. Of course, Dengate now right up behind Young. And of course, a further 6 seconds behind this pack is Jamie Mcknight, the People's Champion. A bit of lap traffic there in Chris Island for this group to contend with as well. Of course, we're only on lap 10 here, so not even halfway in this race. Kenny now side by side with Michael Whiting.
Yeah, big run there from Michael Whiting out of the last corner. See if he can get a bit of side drafting here.
Tucking in behind, so he can pick up a little bit more. Swings back out again. A little bit of an overlap. No, not quite. He's going to go deeper under brakes here. Dengate has a bit of a look on Young just to let him know he's there.
To the end.
As it looks like Michael Whiting going to hold on here. Gets the job done.
Yeah, Kenny Ladder gave Michael plenty of room there, which is good to see. Good clean racing.
Just have a quick look up the front, see how these boys are getting on. So Adam Briggs has now pulled out to 0.9 of a second from Warboys. Warboys is still 0.7 of a second from Dyke, and Delaney's 0.45 back, playing that rear gunner role. Doing it very well. Holding off Ben Morris and Chastity. Adam Briggs driving quite well, but Corey McFarlane's really the talk of the night, out 4.2 seconds ahead of everybody. Mustn't forget that our reigning champion is way out in front, doing a wonderful job. Cracking start, jumped the line, off the line, and flew away from these boys quite well. Of course, Wallboys was our pole sitter from McFarlane.
Yeah, once Corey jumped off the line, it was almost like that was, see you later, boys. I'll see you in pit lane at the end.
Absolutely. Of course, Corey missing the first half of the season, so not really in the points battle here. So I think we've got Briggs and Wallboys, who are respectively first and second in the championship, playing the game. Then we've got Jamie Dyke sitting in fourth. He's fourth in the championship. And the man that's third in the championship, James Chastaneuf, sitting back in seventh. So still all to be played for a few of these boys.
Yeah, definitely. James Chastaneuf doing a good job right through the season. He just lost touch with the battle pack in front of him of Briggs, Wallboys, Dyke, Delaney and Morris. So he's probably going to find it difficult now that he's out of that draft to peg these boys back.
Absolutely. I think, as we talked about earlier on in the start, the draft's going to be quite critical here tonight. And you can see these boys here battling it out quite well. We might jump back to that Paul Young battle. Dengate's up in the 12th. Paul Young is sitting in 11th. So this is this battle that we talked about early on during our pre-broadcast show, pre-race show, of how the top 10 is still very contestedly being fought. Dengate doing a really good job here, showing a lot of maturity, not being too antsy, not pushing too hard. Big shout out to Sean McNamara, who's jumped in the chat as well.
Yeah, Harrison doing a great job, showing, like you say, a lot of maturity. He hasn't just stuffed it up the inside and wished for something to happen. He's just playing his cards right and just trying to consolidate his position in the championship, and then waiting for race 2 to see where he can make ground.
And Hayden Norris here having a good look on Michael Whiting. Both of them still side by side. Some great battles. Oh, brake lock up. No, they both get around cleanly.
Hayden Norris doing a great job for the Riot Sim Racing team, and newcomer Simon Mesmo for 95 Sim Sport up 7 spots. He's doing a great job as well. Cameron Jones up 13 spots. He's the big mover tonight.
Absolutely, starting from rear grid, Cameron Jones. Just a big one for you, Backer. You just got to fix up Simon's SDK app. And a big shout out to Steve Murray in the chat as well. And I've just done the old commentator's curses. Hayden Norris just has a bit of a moment. And Paul Young now, Kenny Ladder going on the wide line there. Paul Young now to the outside. Dengate going left and right behind. And having another look in here now as we come onto the main straight through Panasonic. A few boys out of position. A few boys not getting a clean run out of that last corner. Dengate now having up to look the inside. Oh no, that was huge. Dengate's on his roof. Ladder were moved out, not realising. I think Dengate was beside him. Dengate's got the draft.
Safety car board the flag, safety car.
That's a safety car too, people.
On the main straight, safety car board the
Oh,
flag.
that's a big accident. Very unfortunate for Harrison.
Yeah, that's
Please
shocking for Harrison. That's really, really not a great move there from Kenneth. You normally would expect him to know somebody's there. So,
Stand by, stand by.
yeah, that's really unfortunate for Harrison. I'm a bit flabbergasted by that one.
It's a bit
640, you
Well,
can pass the safety car when you
Well,
get
the
to it.
gyro works well anyway. We might just go back. We'll have a look at that on board from Kenneth's
654, pass the
perspective.
safety car.
Go back to that one again.
$052, sorry. Thank you.
Sorry. Let me go back one more time.
Yeah, Harrison had plenty of overlap there.
Yeah, definitely relying on his spotter there to be telling him what was going on, Kenneth. So yeah, not an easy one. I'll leave that one for race control to clean up, but yeah,
I think you got me, Ash.
a bit heartbreaking there for Dengate. He'd been driving well, we've just been giving him the rap. So if you want to blame anyone, Harrison, you can blame us for the commentator's curse. And Briggs and Dyke have both ducked into the pits here, which is an interesting thing to note.
052, you can pass the safety car.
As I don't think you needed to
41,
be
you
in
can
a
pass.
safety car at all at this stage.
That is interesting that we've had
Car
a
one,
couple
please
jump
maintain behind the safety
into the
car.
pits. I thought I heard Blake Delaney trying to field save earlier. I'm not sure if that was right, but
I didn't.
Jamie Dyke has maybe thought
race
fresh
control,
tyres
right,
is
yeah.
the way to go
Oh.
for the second half of the race.
You can tell, yes.
Could be make the most of us for the car, but
Thank you.
still got
999, you can pass the
Still got a
safety
few laps
car
to go,
on the
so
right,
it's
safety
not-
car on the right.
still got 13 laps. There's still a long way to go.
Sorry, correction, continue that, sorry.
Jump on with the safety car and just double check that I read correctly when I did my homework.
Sorry about
It's
that, 999.
race one is 96 litres, no pit stops, so 28 laps I couldn't
823,
see
you can pass
being
on the right.
too much of an issue for fuel. So we're race two, we've got the compulsory pit stop. So Sean McNamara letting us know that Ben Morris is doing really well. Absolutely, sitting in fourth spot. Great drive from the 9.5 sim racer.
Yeah, Ben doing a great job. I think Craig Schultz probably would have been a lot further up as well, but he just had the slot one mistake on lap one and a little bit unfortunate for Craig, but I'm sure he'll battle his way back in race two.
Absolutely, that's what we've got to remember. We've still got another race to come tonight. These boys have all been racing side by side very cleanly, doing a really great job. Anyway, we'll see what comes out of what's caused this incident here to put us under the safety car. So I might just have a look at that from one more view, if I can find it again. And I'll just go to chase. And we'll have a look at that one more time, just while we're sitting here. Harrison's done that. A slight overlap. I think Kenny's just looking for that, looking to get into the draft and probably didn't quite realise Harrison was
We'll
there.
be going green next lap line. We'll be going green next lap line.
Definitely nothing deliberate. But, you know, like I would have thought Kenny would have got a call from his spotter.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see how we go. So let's just have a quick recap of our championship situation at the moment. So Warboys is sitting in second. He didn't go in for that extra fuel stop or extra stop. Briggs is now back in 13th. And Jamie Dyke's back in 14th. James Chastanoof is now back up into 5th. So the battle now is really going to be able to see what can Briggs and Dyke do with that pit stop under their belts. As we just bring up the pit strategy so we can all see. Then you got Barella and Kirby that have also stopped as well. And you've got Dawson, Nash and Mesimo who stopped. So it's going to be rather interesting just to see how this pit stop plays out. Of course, no.
Absolutely. I'm really quite surprised Jamie Dyke pitted when he was sitting in 4th place, I think. Or possibly even 3rd. It was unusual for him to throw himself into the pits and risk not being able to make up their places again.
Absolutely. And of course, we're about to go green again shortly.
Race control, am I allowed another wave around?
Negative, you won't give in your first wave around 623. I'm going to investigate that after the safety car.
So, of course, this brings Corey McFarlane back to the pack as well. As I believe the safety car should be speeding off. He did say one more lap, I believe. Have a look where Barella is. Also, Richie had Jaden O'Gara sitting in the rig a week or two ago for the E-Series. Sure, Richie would have got as many tips as he could from that.
Richie would have been giving out tips, I'm sure.
As waiting for Seb to give the call for the safety car to head off, or are we going another lap? That's the question. Wait and see.
Safety car, drive away from the field.
There we go.
Please maintain 80 kilometres an hour.
Should have that lightly in the background. I've got the chat running tonight. As Richie pulls away and Corey McFarlane now has control of the field. So I thought he would have gone. We're waiting for the call for the safety car to be in pit.
In the lane,
There it
one, you
is.
have control.
McFarlane still holding them. Shouldn't have gone green yet, it's still yellow. Whoops. It's going to take him all the way to the line. He's away. We are green flag racing. We are off. Wallboy's managing to hang on to the slip here. McFarlane, though, doing a bit of a lead to try and break the toe. Wallboy's nicely tucking in behind. As we're green flag racing, keep an eye on the back there. Blake Delaney sitting in third. Whiting and Chastity going side by side into turn one. Chastity looks like he's got himself in the fifth. Kenny Ladder going backwards a little bit and changing places with Hayden Norris. But Corey McFarlane looking down the road here, got it all his own way. In front of him. And when you look behind, you've got Warboys and Delaney trying to hang on. And of course, Pete Kelleher questioning whether Briggsy and Dyke just took tyres and no fuel.
Well, I'm assuming everybody had enough fuel to get home because there was no compulsory pit stop, and so I'm just assuming they just took tyres.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they probably would have done. As Corey McFarlane here getting good try off. Simon Mesmo and Roy Clark are involved in an incident. We might just quickly jump back. There's a few others, Barellas in there as well. So something's happened out the back. We might just quickly jump and have a look here. We go on to Mesmo. On the grass, it's usually not a good start. As looks like that's Barella into him, spun him around. Then Kate trying to come back through. Roy Clark in the background involved in that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I'll leave that one up the race control. Drive-through penalty for Kenny Ladder for contact with 97. So that's the incident that brought out the safety car.
Drive-through penalty, car 269, contact with 97, lap 13.
And Warboys this time hanging on to the back of McFarlane, which is quite interesting to see. And just keeping an eye on Jamie Dyke. Jamie Dyke has worked his way back up into 12th. Adam Briggs has worked his way back up into 10th. So these boys coming through the pack hot with their new tyres.
Yeah, Adam and Jamie, fresh tyres, making ground slowly but surely, especially in these slow corners. They seem to get a lot better drive.
And coming around here, tucking in, Briggs tucking in behind Ladder, his teammate. And nicely gets in. Oh, we've got a car, one of the fishy boys. Looks like Dave Coleman went sideways in the background there. So a few of these boys struggling with the pace here at the moment after this restart with 10 laps to go. Briggs working his way back up in the 9th. Coleman spun again and again, so I'm not sure whether he's been involved in something else. As we took a quick look on here, board, another man in the thick of the fight, Jamie Mcknight, the People's Champion. Tucked up behind his teammate, trying to get the draft. Jamie in the ZB tonight. Normally we see him in the Falcon, which is an interesting choice. Obviously he and Barella knew something that the rest of us don't know. Not a bad drive from the wily old veteran, sitting up 3 spots in 12th. We might just jump back up the front. Corey McFarlane still under a lot of pressure from War Boys.
Yeah, interesting that Blake's been able to hang on to Corey this time round. Corey really got the jump on everybody earlier on, but this time he's not getting it all his own way.
Nah, definitely not. Delaney managing to hang on to the back of it, but these boys have broken the chain to Ben Morris a bit further back. So Ben will be struggling now to pick up that slipstream. Then looking back into 8th though, we can see Adam Briggs is on the hunt moving forward. As we come through the chicane. Stephen Lawrence involved in an incident as well.
Adam Briggs has made his way back to 7th. Jamie Dyke is sitting in 10th at the moment.
Just sitting behind Jones and Whiting. So 2 very experienced campaigners for Dyke to get past. Corey McFarlane now absolutely under a lot of pressure from War Boys coming down the straight. War Boys in the slipstream, looks to the inside. Has it got enough legs to kick him out and get the job done coming down the straight here? Looks like it.
Michael Whiting heading to the pits.
Not sure what that'll be for. Didn't see any involvement from him in any incidents.
Wondering if people are going to be a few litres short on
fuel.
Yeah, because I thought I heard Blake Delaney fuel saving just before the safety car.
Might just jump on board with Corey and we'll just have a bit of a listen.
I would have thought with 2 or 3 laps under the safety car, they'd be home.
Home,
No
yeah.
problem.
There we go. So Chris Ireland is failure to follow safety car procedures, so he's got a points penalty post-race. Let's listen for Corey here, see what he's up to. See Mount Fuji there in the background. We turn back up the hill through Panasonic.
Jamie Dyke make another place on Cameron Jones there, clearly seeing the benefit of fresher tyres there.
Looks like we've got a little bit of a battle going on here. Delaney getting involved in this as well. This is lap 21 started now, 28, so not too many more to wind out. Doesn't sound like too much fuel saving going on there, Mark.
No, like I said, with 2 or 3 laps under the safety car, I would have thought plenty of time to save fuel and get home. So I'm not quite sure why Michael Whiting pitted. Incident points, yeah, I just don't know.
And Adam Briggs, of course, moves the front camera. He's right up behind Paul Young now. That gap is 0.2 of a second or 0.3 of a second. So I'd expect Adam here to probably charge through. Of course, as a championship leader, I probably expect him not to be too aggressive. As we come through chicane, through 11 and 12.
Yeah, Paul, another vets driver, good guy. I'm sure he's going to try and protect James Chastanoff as best he can and keep his position in the championship.
Now, Dave Baldock tells me they don't drive as a team. It's all for yourself. Couldn't see any of that happening. As we said.
They all told me they don't listen to Dave Baldock.
No one else does. Hi, Dave, if you're out there watching. Oh, a little bit of a tap of the brakes there. And nice work by Briggsy. Getting the job done. Moves on. And War Boys, McFarlane side by side now. And a little bit of a touch, I think. Not too much. Delaney having a bit of a look inside there as well.
Delaney would have been licking his lips there, I'm sure.
Absolutely. War Boys goes the wide line. Can he hold the inside from Delaney? Yes, he does. Delaney tucks in behind War Boys. That creates a bit of a gap there. And of course, Shervay Jones is in the chat. How are you, Andrew? Good to have you with us, mate.
This battle has allowed Ben Morris to tag
Back on.
back on. So yeah, great driving from Ben.
Of course, this is bringing Chastity and Adam Briggs with him as well. As about to start lap 23 of 28. It's a great little battle we've got going on. 10 Gates crashed again. We won't worry about that. Matty. And Matty Mascord's in the chat as well. Big shout out to Matty. Nice to have you join us tonight, mate.
Car 97, you cleared the tow.
And Dan Gates just
hello
towed.
Matty, fellow Nova Castrian.
Thank you.
Dan Gates just towed again, so not sure what happened there.
Chassis under all sorts of pressure here from Adam Briggs.
Of course, when you're sitting third in the championship and the man in front of you 2 cars up the road is second in the championship, that all matters. Damien Johnstone in the chat as well. Big shout out to Damien. And Will Wilson's an Novocastrian as well. There you go.
Go the Newcastle boys.
Briggsy here looking both sides of Chastity.
Yeah, good clean drive from both drivers, both plenty of experience, both good clean races.
Of course, War Boys here, still tucked up behind McFarlane. Blake Delaney having a cracking drive. It's great to see Blake running around in the top 3. And of course, we've got Ben Morris from 95 Sim Sport just tacking on to the back of this group. And just a reminder too, entries are still open for season 4 of the East Coast Series. Should be starting in a couple of weeks. So if you haven't got your entries in, guys, make sure you get them in. Filling up very quickly. Oh, War Boys getting the job done this time, maybe. Farland defending that inside line. Delaney having a look up the inside line. This is a great little battle.
It's a great battle. They've all got their strengths and weaknesses around this track at the moment. Like, yeah, they got their strengths where they need them, and yeah, Blake just can't quite outbreak Corey at the moment.
Go ahead, 21. Yeah, lap 23, car 21, main straight.
And we've got another incident on the main straight. Not sure that one there.
Of course, you know, with Corey McFarlane being our current champion, there's no surprise the brakes haven't trouble getting past him, because Corey is a very, very good driver. Absolutely.
And Biggin's Ultimate Highlights Guys and Girls TV has joined our chat as well tonight, so big shout out to him. Apparently our 200th subscriber, which is a fair achievement for our little old YouTube channel. So
A little engine that could.
So welcome aboard. And of course, the other highlight too, which we missed last week, Mark, that we didn't talk about, was last week was Harrison Dengate's 50th race in the East Coast Series. So, believe it or not, as the boys are now weaving down the straight, believe it or not, the first guy to reach the 50th milestone last week for Harrison. So, big congratulations to H.
Yeah, big congratulations to Harrison. Probably one of the youngest drivers here, and he's the oldest statesman of the series.
Absolutely. And this race is Blake Warboy's 50th.
052, please readdress positions with car 21.
Happy birthday to Blake for 50 races with the East Coast Series.
And
I've
got to double check, but I've got a feeling this is our 50th as well. So, to hit 200
Happy
subscribers.
birthday to you, John.
So to get 200 subscribers on our 50th, that's probably fitting. Of course, Stephen Murray saying hit the like button as well. But these guys here having an absolute cracking battle. And this is why we kept coming back and watching. And you can see McFarlane here, still 0.2 seconds out from Warboys. Delaney tucked in behind. Then you got Morris, Briggs. Chassis a further 1.5 seconds back from this group. Jamie Dyke has now caught up to the back of Chassis as well, so that's another one talking point. This is a battle for third place in the championship here. Dyke could be looking to get his nose in front here.
Yeah, without a doubt. I know Blake Delaney's just urging Blake Warby to throw it down the inside. So, to see if he can capitalise on any mistakes made by anybody.
Absolutely.
Ben Morris, but he's doing an outstanding job. Fourth position, sitting right in Blake Delaney's draft down the front straight this time. And I know Ben's not afraid to send it. Oh, Blake's in the wall down pit.
Oh no, that is huge. Just trying to see what's happened there. Briggs has passed him. Ben Morris has passed him. We might just see if we can get a replay on this. I think he's just been sucked back in there with the draft a little bit. Not sure. I might see get a second look at that. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think Corey moved off his line. It looked like could have been a bit of net code in that, I think.
That's what I'm thinking as well. It's hit the wall pretty hard anyway.
Yeah,
And
more than once. That's
engine
great
blown as
start,
well.
I think.
Yep, engine blown as well. That will be a turn up for the books for the championship points, which we won't be able to work that one out because that'll be a drop one. So, eek. Anyway, we'll play on. We'll go back up the front where all the action is. Back up to Delaney. I did go back to live pictures. No, I didn't. We go back up to Delaney. So he's still under all sorts of pressure. Briggs now into our top three, sitting in third.
That's an incredible comeback from Adam Briggs after pitting.
Absolutely.
That's three we've killed off with the commentators curse tonight. Anybody else want to shout out?
So Delaney now under all sorts of pressure from Adam Briggs, tucked in behind there. Just as Warboy's about to get into the pits in the background there, still puffing out smoke, so at least he got back into the pit lane. Might be able to salvage some points. These boys still battling out front here, still not done and dusted. On the penultimate lap at the moment. So poor old Blake Delaney's windscreen's looking pretty dirty after being behind Warboys. And he is thrown up on the screen.
Jamie Dykes has slipped up the inside of James Chastanet there to get back into fifth place.
Chassie's not going to let him have it his own way. Chassie having a bit of a look here, coming around the outside, coming down in the Dunlop. Tries the over and under, coming into the chicane through 11 and 12. Of course, Cameron Jones tucking the back of this group here as well. Dyke now starting to pull away. Looks like Chastity's going to struggle here a little bit. have to be a bit careful that he's not getting cleaned up by Jones and Paul Young behind.
Yeah, well, Jamie Dyke's tyres are half the age of James Chassanev, so not surprising that he's got better grip.
Yeah, race control's called that incident with Warboys netcode, I think, because there's no further action. And we might just have a quick look as well. It's going to have it. Jamie Mcknight having a great little battle here as well, holding off Norris, Stewart and Dawson.
Corey McFarlane's run wide at turn 1 and has dropped back to 3rd spot, so Adam Briggs is now in the lead.
Morris having a bit of a look on McFarlane here as well.
Yeah, Morris giving Corey a bit of Morse code there.
Yep. So McFarlane going to get caught wide here as well again, with Morris now getting up the inside. McFarlane switches it back to the inside at Dunlop. Tries to hold the line. Jamie Dyke might pick up a few more spots here too if he's lucky on the last corner. But we might just jump back up to the front here. We'll come back to that, see how Blake Delaney goes. But Adam Briggs, our championship leader, is about to put the final screws into the mantelpiece, I think, as he comes around the final corner. Race 1 of race 2 for this evening. But this will put all doubt about it. It is a done deal. Congratulations, Adam Briggs, on winning the 3rd season of the East Coast V8 Series. Well deserved, mate. Well deserved.
Yeah, great drive from Adam. Great drive from Blake Delaney as well to not make any mistakes and come up to 2nd spot. He's up 3 spots. Corey McFarlane, not sure what happened on that last lap, but he'll be pretty filthy on himself, I would imagine. Jamie Dyke ended up back in where he started in 4th place. Solid job from Ben Morris. Cameron Jones up 20 spots. Great effort from Cameron.
So this is Briggsy here. He's taken the inside line. It looks like there might have been a little bit on the grass there, maybe. Then he's tried the inside. Not really the best camera angles. Then he's gone hot through. Yep. So great awareness there from Adam not to turn into Corey coming past. So great little drive there in that sense. And anything else worth having a look at on that one? Not really. So just to recap, we'll go back to live picks. So just
It'll be up in about 10 minutes.
so we've got about 10 minutes is the word coming through. But just to recap, we need to go live pictures first. Okay, no, we'll go grid results. Just to recap, and they're not coming up. I'm not winning here, am I?
A little bit of argy-bargy as well with Ben Morris, Corey McFarlane, Jamie Madai on that line. No one done anything untoward. It was just hard racing, and poor old Ben Morris ended up losing a couple of spots.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of hard fighting there at the end, which was great to see. So just to recap, and I've lost all of mine. There we go. Let's bring that one back up for you. Just to recap, Adam Briggs has taken the race 1 this evening, and that's enough to seal the deal for him for the championship. So congratulations to Adam Briggs and all the boys at Synergy Sim Racing. We'll know in the chat that JR is very excited, which is good to see. And Blake Delaney home in 2nd for Fishy Motorsports. So great for the Fishy boys to come in P2. And of course, Blake and the Fishy boys all had a big weekend down at Sandown. So it's good to see them. Good to see them out racing at the moment. And we also then had after that Corey McFarlane in 3rd. Jamie Dyke fought his way back up to 4th, having Ben Morris and Cameron Jones between him and Chastity. So that's going to make it quite interesting when all the drop rounds and stuff are calculated to see how we're going to sit for the championship for the minor places. After Chastity, we had teammate Paul Young The People's Champion, Jamie Mcknight into 9th, Hayden Norris from Riot in 10th, Matt Stewart 11th, Dawson in 11th, 12th, Kirby 13th, Nash 14, Schultz 15, 16 was smart after a few battles, few scrapes. Matty Whitaker in 17th, Ash Burrell at 18, Simon Mesamo all the way back in 19th in his first race, which was a fair effort, and Matty Scholes was rounding out the top 20. And with us in the chat at the moment, we have Mr. Race Control himself, who's had a very busy first race. How are you, Seb?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you. Actually, first race wasn't too bad. Bit of safety car action, but some really top racing for that final top 10. They were just back and forward all race long. It was great.
Very entertaining. Very entertaining. How you found the gig this season, mate?
Look, I wanted to jump in and I wanted to give a big shout out to everyone that's been racing this season. We have had our moments, we have had our fair share of difficulties with some drivers and incidents and other things like that. But in general, I have really, really enjoyed this season. All the drivers, like throughout there, have been fantastic. We've changed rules in mid-season and we've brought in new things and we did changes to the safety car procedures and lots of other things, and everyone's just really, really gotten on board with it and been really supportive and fantastic. So overall, it's been an awesome, awesome season. Can't wait to kick off season 4 soon with some enduros and other good bits and pieces, but overall, really, really happy.
It's good, mate. It's good. It's been good having you involved with the team, and we do greatly appreciate sitting here in the broadcast. You're chucking up the race control comments. At least we know what's going on.
Yeah. I try to keep it as best as I can, and I mean sometimes I'm the bad guy when it comes to giving out the penalties that people don't want to accept. But overall, no, it is good fun, and I do it because it promotes fair racing, and we've seen it. We've seen the fantastic close racing that we've gotten all season long, and yeah, big congratulations to Adam Briggs, obviously taking out season 3 with a fantastic, consistent, fast season. So really good to see.
Yeah, no, it's been he's had a cracker. He's done really well all season, which is just consistency and his attitude. And then when we had him come into the broadcast booth and have a chat to us, he's a impeccable young bloke who I think's probably got a big future in iRacing and a big future in any other endeavours that he goes after. I think he's got a really good attitude. So
yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah. Anyway, mate, you've got Jamie Dyke sitting in the waiting room.
I could see that. Yeah, better get back down there. Got work to do. We've got another race to get through. But also, a big thank you to you and the broadcast team for putting on a fantastic show all season long. When I do have a moment to watch the broadcast, I try to during the race, but it's hard to stay across it and do race control. But it's been fun to watch.
It's good, mate. We enjoy the quality of racing that the boys put on, and it's that quality of racing that makes the series work quite well for us. And yeah, like I think there's 19 people out in the chat at the moment watching and listening, and I think most of them all really have to agree that it's good quality racing and really enjoyable to watch. And we just don't know where the drama's going to come next and who we've just put the commentator's curse on.
Yeah, I will say though, you might need to clean up the popcorn in here, Mark. You're leaving a mess in here, mate.
Oh, look, I think I cursed 3 or 4 drivers then. No, they all ended up on their roof once I said something about them. So.
Oh, I know. Poor Harrison. That was a big one, wasn't it?
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah. There was a lot of, there was some fortunate drivers and unfortunate drivers, which we see every race. Nothing untoward. It's just, people making errors. Always happens, and you just got to get on with it. You guys have done a fantastic job with the series. It's been a pleasure to help John commentate on, and yeah, looking forward to season 4 coming our way soon.
Alrighty, I better get back to my nice, cool race control room. Enjoy the rest of the broadcast, guys.
No worries.
Cheers,
good luck for the next one.
Cheers.
Let's have another look at that one. Let that sit in the background. So we have to change servers in a minute. And
okay, so we've got to all jump out and then jump back in.
Yeah, so just got to wait and see where we sit with that one. And when we do that, I will throw out one of my favourite Supercheap Auto 60-second ads. But just waiting for the final call from Ash to say it's up. So the next race, I think we're still going to end for a great battle. I think Jamie Dyke, James Chastanoof, that's going to be the spot to keep an eye on. And then, of course, Warboys with back in 25th out of that one. He's going to be requiring himself to get him back into a higher position. So,
Yeah, I'm kind of desperate to know where the points stand after that race.
yeah,
It's really thrown a cat amongst the pigeon with the WK&P boys having some really, really bad luck on the pit straight there during that race.
absolutely. As you can see Harrison in the background there on his side.
Yeah, the big long straightaway, we think it'd be the safest place on the track halfway down there, but yeah, the boys really kind of didn't have much luck going down there. So yeah, interesting to see where the points stand at this stage.
And I think the only thing we can take away from race one is WK&P boys can't drive in a straight line.
Get a wheel alignment.
Anyway, we'll grab Ash Barella in the green room. We'll have a chat to the boss himself. Mr. Barella, how are you? Welcome.
Not too bad, Johnny. No, here you go.
As you,
Hey, Ash.
yourself and Josh as the main men behind the East Coast series, you've got to be pretty happy with how season three's rolled out.
It's been unreal, to be honest. Obviously, Ben Anthony stepping down into season two and taking over. We didn't quite know what was going to happen, but I think in the end we've had nearly 100 drivers throughout the season in the 19 races. So it's been a ripper, and season four is just going to be bigger and better, I think.
Absolutely. I think it will be bigger and better. And we've already got some big names and some big new teams coming into the series as well.
Yeah, definitely, which is, it's going to be awesome to see them guys racing with the SSR boys, and hopefully our boy Blake can match it with them and be back at the pointy end.
Absolutely. It'll be quite interesting to see how they go. Like, we've got the Premier Racing team coming in with O'Brien Borg and the boys, so that'll be quite good to see. There's a few other names we've got coming. And of course,
it's awesome.
Yeah, well, the Premier boys are no slouches. They've got plenty of fast drivers in their ranks, as has SSR. But, I think, when you look at the top 10, there's a great mix of drivers from a lot of different teams. And I think, the series can give itself a pat on the back to, promoting good, fair racing, hard racing. And, I think everybody who comes to this series gets a fair go.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the main thing we strive for, is to make sure that it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, what team you're from, and if you bugger up and the stewards have a word with you, well, you're going to be dealt with the exact same as someone as a privateer. So, yeah, the boys in race control do a great job, and can't thank them enough to donate their time. And yeah, it's been great.
Absolutely. I might just see if I can do a little bit of trickery here. Just bear with me for a second. Not that one. And go back to qualifying. So, of course, that's our racing starting on the 12th of September at Donington. And as we mentioned before, we've got a Bathurst and a Sandown race. And let me just try and move some screens around here. Will it work for me or not? Not, maybe yes, maybe not. And let's just drag that. So we can see here some of the names we've got. We've got Paul Young coming back from the Banter Alliance, of course. Matty G. Stewart is back. Warren Davis. We've got Rick Kushjanov from Premier Racing Team. The Fishy Boys are back. Jamie Mcknight, of course, is back. Michael Schreier's coming in as well. Reg James is coming from the Banter Alliance. Another one of the vets drivers coming to join the group. Tom Frere's back for another round as well. There's quite a few names dropped into that list already, so it's going to be quite good. Jordan Ross is in there. Nathan Brown's making a comeback, I believe. James Scott's coming back as well. So that's just a brief, quick look of some of the entries that we've already got coming back for next season. So,
yeah, no, the list is shaping up real well. Like last season, I think once this season's done, there'll be a few more entries come in. But really looking forward to hosting our first Bathurst 1000 and Sandown 500 to end of season 4, which is going to be a great finish, I think, to season 4 and
Yeah.
lead into Christmas.
And of course, the track has made some interesting racing, and you decided to not go with the chicane. Go with the chicane. So that's definitely made it very interesting for a few boys.
Not wrong. You might have caught my little incident I had there off the safety car.
We didn't go back to the one after the safety car.
Ah, good. Don't go back. No, see, the next server is up though, so
Yeah, keep talking.
race 2 of the final final round is a 1 compulsory pit stop, unlimited fuel. So there'll be no fuel saving, just 1 stop.
Yep.
So there could be a fair bit of different strategies out there, and hopefully it mixes a few results up.
And of course, it's going to be quite difficult for us boys to know exactly how everything's going to finish with drop rounds and everything else. So we'll leave that up to you to make the final announcement of who's sitting where, but there's probably a fair chance we'll have 2 or 3 boys in to have a chat to. But Briggsy's definitely got it sealed and done and dusted now. It's mathematically impossible to knock him off the perch, but I think the battle's still on between, I think, Chastity, War Boys and Dyke.
Yeah, I think unfortunately Blake had a tough race that one, and I think it might have shuffled his result around. It might have, not going to go into too much of it, but I think it might have put him off the podium. So we'll see what he can do from back of the field this one, and hopefully get back up there.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to watch. Anyway, we'll let you go get organised, and we'll get ourselves organised, and hopefully we'll be back shortly.
Too easy. Talk soon.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, 2-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those 2 variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first. There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
And people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super.
Sec, mate.
And still just waiting for the track to load in, but of course this circuit is very much looking quite tricky circuit, as we said, that long straightaway, creating that drafting effect, keeping everyone busy and in the game. And then after that, we then have, of course, those undulating corners through turns 3 and 4 and 5 up into the hill. Definitely a lot to play for still. As we said, we've got those final podium spots in the championship up for grabs between Chastanooth, Dyke and War Boys. That's something to keep an eye out for in this next stage. And then we also have as well, you know, a few other guys trying to get themselves back in. That should come in. There it is. Yes. A few other boys still trying to get themselves back into where they need to be. So definitely a lot to be played for here tonight. Nice little spin there from David Nash. As we've still got another 7 minutes to go.
Had to make an unscheduled pit stop myself there. Sorry, John.
Nah, you're right. Roy Clark in the chat and not racing. Not out there yet. hopefully Roy's back on track. Saying that the VFS ad was great too. And everything.
I'm still curious as to why Michael Whiting ended up pitting. I know he finished the race on the lead lap, and I'm not sure. He into the point seemed fine, so I don't know whether he just felt he had no tyres left.
Don't know. It's got me a bit stumped as well. Any of the fishy boys out there watching, you want to jump in the chat and let us know? As paints are still dropping in. So, of course, the starting grid is the finish that we had for the last race. So it'll be interesting to see how we pick this all up and run. And then, of course, as Ash reminded us, it's unlimited fuel and the guys have got to make one stop. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of strategies people make, whether they try and get away from the slower cars in front of them early and run through, or whether they run as long as you can to try and avoid dropping out of the train, running down the main straight in the slipstream. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these strategies play out as well in this second race.
Good to see Adam Briggs has got a cheer squad going on in the chat. He has done an outstanding job all season, and he's got a great team behind him, and that whole SSR team is full of talent, and really looking forward to seeing a few more of them race with us next season.
Oh, absolutely. It's in awe of some of these guys like James Scott, absolute genius of a driver when he's come in and raced with us. Brenton Hobson, who's hasn't been with us for the last few weeks because of all things, he's been off doing the E-Series. You know, so they've got definitely quite a few quick guys sitting in their group. And, you know, every time I talk with a few of them, they all bounce off each other and all work really well with each other, which is what you want in a team of that calibre. And, you know, when you got the likes of Jared Filsell and Brody Kostecki also involved, you know, and they're dragging along young blokes like Adam with them. It's fantastic to see the depth and commitment they all have to each other and their team. So definitely big pat on the back to the Synergy Sim Racing guys.
Yeah, and we're starting to see Sean McNamara with his 9.5 Sim Sport team. You know, they're recruiting good drivers and they're building momentum as well as a team. The Fishy boys are always good to have around. They always love their racing and they're pretty professional about it. They love having a good time, but they go about their racing quite seriously and execute well. We've got the Premier Race team, did we say?
Yep, Premier Race team coming next season.
They're also another team that have got some very quick drivers and you know, well-managed team, and they always end up at the top end of the results. So yeah, next season looking very, very strong.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be quite interesting to see how some of these boys go. Some of these new ones, we've seen their names, we've heard the names, we've know what they can do in things like Scops and the Pro Series. So it'd be interesting to see what some of these boys do against the regular runners in this series. You know, and I think it's hats off to this series really to be able to get those type of guys signing up, which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, we've also got Corey McFarlane, who did an outstanding job last season to become our champion. And we've seen since he's come back the last few races, you know, just how quick he is and how competitive he is. And I'd really love to see Corey back here permanently next year as well. You know, and then we got Blake Warboys and Harrison Dengate and Ash Barella, you know, doing a great job with the WK&P. You know, some of the smaller teams like is a BAR, that they're another small team doing good things. So yeah, there's lots of good things happening in this series.
Mm.
The Riot Boys, another one, you know, like David Nash and who else am I thinking? Hayden Norris. You know, they've done a great job in that last race, and they're only a small team doing good things. So, yeah, like there's lots of good things happening in the East Coast V8 series.
Absolutely. And then, as we was talking about before, next season, Enduros, that's going to really mix things up as well, I think, for a few of these lads.
Am I right in thinking the calendar's a little bit shorter next season than this one?
No, I think it's still 13 seasons, so 13 rounds instead of 15. So it is a fraction shorter, but we've got the 2 Enduros, and I think that's got more to do with stopping for Christmas.
Okay.
So the last round's on the 19th of December. So heaven helps us if iRacing brings rain in somewhere in the middle of that, or towards the end of that.
Yeah, rain's been coming for a long time.
Yeah, true, it has, but it's just a couple of little things popping up in cars at the moment and in the platform itself. I don't know whether you've noticed the auto wiper button, or wiper buttons now in the options.
No, I haven't. I don't get in the car as much as I used to, but I would certainly hope that, you know, once it starts raining in iRacing, it'll stop raining in Newcastle.
As we're about to go to the grid. So, of course, we'll give this a quick second to shake itself out and see how we go. So our grid is, and overlay sub's not working, I don't know why that's wrong, but anyway, we have Adam Briggs on pole with Blake Delaney sharing the front row with him. Corey McFarlane in third, Jamie Dyke in fourth. Ben Morris is sitting back in fifth. Sixth is Cameron Jones. Seventh is James Chastaneau from teammate Paul Young. Followed by Jamie Mcknight, the People's Champion, sitting in ninth with Hayden Norris in 10th. Matty Stewart from 1-9 and 11, and Alan Dawson from Right Sim Racing in 12th. Great to see him so far up the grid. Great effort there. And we then move up. Whoops, I've gone one too many there. Go back one. We then move up to Dave Kirby in 13th, David Nash in 14th, Craig Schultz from 9-5 Sim Sports in 15th, Christian Smart all the way back into 16th with Matty Whitaker 17, Barella in 18. Simon Mesmo for his second race back in 19th. Matty Scholes in 20th. Kenny Ladder all the way back in 21st. Michael Whiting in 22nd. Roy Clark in 23rd with Stefan Lawrence parked next to him from Right Sim Racing in 24th. And then we come into Blake Warboys, the man who was sitting second in the championship for that race back in 25th. Coleman in 26th and Fishy Motorsports. Chris Island in 27th from Send It. Dengate in 28th. And then we have Race Control Sebastian in 29th with Richie Barella in 30th and Dave Worrell, our other Race Control steward, in 31st. We are now not too far away from going green here. And it is looking good. Boys are all on the grid. Battle box up as well. And we might change to that camera there. So we are now, pretty much should be about to go.
Corey McFarlane, I'm sure, will want to jump just like last time.
Absolutely. He got off to a cracker. Mcknight's still not on the grid, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Still waiting for Mcknight to get on the grid. I've been in the server because his name's there, so not sure what's going on. Hopefully not a power failure or technical issues. They're going to be rather interesting, this one. I think we've got the two WK&P boys down the back in 25th and 28th, both with nothing to lose. So expect them to charge through.
They've really got to work together in this race and try and, make as much ground as early as possible, and try and get back some of the points they've lost in that last race.
Absolutely, as Mcknight's dropped onto the grid now, so it can't be too far away. Here we go. We're gridding. Got one red. 2 red, 3, 4, 5. Lights out. We are racing. And looks like we've got a reasonable drop here. As McFarlane looks like he's got a reasonable run as well. Gets up the inside of Briggs. Briggs just with his nose in front. Dyke coming up the inside for a big look as well. Oh, we've got chaos. We've got chaos.
Adam Briggs is around. That's not the way he wants to finish the season off. Jamie Dyke takes a lead. Corey McFarlane got a great jump.
Absolutely. We're going to have to roll back to have a look what happened to Briggs there. We'll just let this settle down up in front here a little bit first. As Dyke ahead of McFarlane, Morris. Chastity's been the big loser in that. Chastity's back into 10th. I haven't heard anything of safety car.
Yeah, we'll have a
But anyway, we'll have a look at that. We might just quickly jump and have a look at that replay.
Yeah, I think we just got three cars into turn one there. It just didn't. It wasn't going to calculate the way they wanted it to.
An absolutely big dive though. I think Dyke might have got a little bit confused by Delaney. Delaney sort of lunged there a little bit. But Briggs, the man sitting on the outside of the curb. And what am I doing on there? That's interesting. Well, cameras are playing up on me tonight, but that's all right. So at the moment, Conor McFarlane's back in the front now with Dyke sitting in second, Morris in third, Paul Young into fourth, Dawson fifth. And no one has ducked off to the pits yet.
I'm expecting Adam Briggs possibly to dive in.
And of course, Briggs now has worked his way back up into 24th, getting past Roy Clark. Wallboys is up 5. Dengate's up 8 already. Christian Smart going backwards.
Sorry, mate.
Well, we've got Matt Whittaker stuck in the last corner. So
Safety car,
we've
water flag,
got a safety car here.
Yep. Safety car's out.
Lane, busy.
Might just keep an eye on pit lane. I'll just go back. You said Whittaker, wasn't it? So we might just quickly jump on here. And lap 2.
Delaney's rolled into the pits already. As has Christian Smart.
Yep, they've gone first. I think Christian was already heading there, I think.
Correct. You can do pit stop on the safety car. 999 past the safety
So
car.
of course everyone will be going in here because this will be their pit stop. So I'd expect everyone to roll through the pits here. Tom Freer explaining Adam Briggs' situation as rough. Just a little bit. And just trying to find Stefan Lawrence. Is this the one we're looking for here? Is that a puff of smoke from, not sure who the yellow car was there? Might have been Matty Whittaker. So Matty Whittaker, I think, blew an engine in the middle of that. There's a big puff of smoke there. So I think that's what's caused that incident there. I'd say, as you said, Matty Whittaker had stopped. So that's why we've got the safety car. There's a Whittaker there blowing his engine.
You can pass the safety car.
I just got pushed into the pit lane and got a speeding pit.
And I don't know if you just heard that. Corey McFarlane is in trouble as well.
640, you can pass the safety car.
Let's see if I can find that one for us.
Mate. I passed everyone in pit lane. Oh, stand by there. Okay, yep. Yeah, pull back in. Sorry.
No, it wasn't that. It was when he entered pit lane.
Thanks, 640.
Just bear with me. Maybe not. Anyway, we'll try and work out how this is all shuffling out. So Dave Coleman is now our race leader still. He hasn't pitted yet. So he's tucked up behind the safety car.
It looks like Jamie Dyke gave Corey McFarlane a tap on the entry to pit lane there, and Corey's picked up a speeding infringement. So
Car 1, no further action.
I'm not sure how they're going to adjudicate that.
They're just trying to find that one. I'm having a little bit of trouble, unfortunately, so I apologise for that.
Race control.
So we'll just continue on here. So We might just...
Go ahead. Briggs.
So Warboys is up 9 spots already. And he's got Dengate beside him still. So Dengate's up 11, Warboys up 9. That's 16 and 17. We go a bit further up. We've got Coleman, who hasn't pitted. Everyone else has pitted. Ben Morris is the first of the leaders of our pitted cars. And then we have Norris, Nash, which has done really well. So Dave's that far up, 10 spots up, sitting in 4th. And then Alan Dawson, James Chasneff in 6th, Matt Stewart in 7th, Kirby in 8th. Christian Smart is in 9th, Schultz 10, 11 is Barella, 12 is Mcknight, 13 Whiting. So we've got a real shake-up here. And...
Safety car will be ending this lap.
Safety car will be in this lap, but we've got a real shake-up. Briggs has worked his way back up to 20th. And Jamie Dyke's back in 23rd with McFarlane. So the guys out in front are the ones that have actually been hurt the most as we go back to get ready to go green here.
Safety car in the lane, 640 control.
And we are green flag racing. We are away again. Dave Coleman from Fishy Motorsports leads the field across the line. Ben Morris from 95 Sim Racing tucked in behind. And Hayden Norris from Right Sim Racing. With his teammate David Nash sitting in 4th with Chassis, and then another Right Sim car as Morris gets through. Locks the brakes up. And one of the Right boys have just spun. Commentators curse talking him up, I think. Looks like a reasonable restart. It's lap 4 of 28. He's underway. And Hayden Norris nicely tucked up behind Dave Coleman here. Dave Coleman's still to pit. Warboys now latched onto the back of ladder. They'll stick on this battle here as Dave Coleman has a bit of a dive on Morris. Definitely some great racing throughout the whole pack here, all still fairly bunched up in a chain all the way back to about 20th. Dengate drops back into 15th.
Yeah, Blake Warboy's doing a great job after his dramas from last race. He's currently up 11 spots. Ben Morris, outstanding job up front, leading the race. He's up 4 spots at the moment, and yeah, he's just done an outstanding job all night. Corey McFarlane and one of the Ride boys just getting together there.
See if we can come back and have a quick look at that.
A lot of neck code by the look of it.
There. As Warboys pulls up along the inside of ladder. Gets the job done, and Dengate under a bit of pressure there from Mesmo. Paul Young's involved in an incident, so we might have a look at Jamie
Dyke. And then Jamie Dyke's just been cleaned up at the rear as well.
As Jamie Dyke coming in, tucks in behind, just clips, and oh, big whack from Corey McFarlane by the looks into Dyke.
Race control, car 3.
That's a big hit.
Go ahead, 3.
Turn 1,
Maybe was just looking to redress there, and after having contact with one of the VAR boys, and then he's just been cleaned up from behind.
So Dave Coleman, he's still hanging on with his older tyres. The only person who hasn't done his compulsory pit stop. Under a bit of pressure from the car beside him. Oh, someone's spinning in the background. That looks like another one of the fishy cars. Not sure who that was. It was David Kirby. I think Dave Kirby's gone off. And another one. Dave Coleman's just spun. I'm not sure who spun him. So let's have a quick look at that one. A little bit to unpack here. Not sure who tapped him. Whether it was Schultz. Let's have a bit of a look here. No, he's already off into the grass there, so I'm not sure what's happened to that one. Anyway,
Dyke just came off them dreaded sausage curbs there and came back into traffic, I think.
have a look at this mauling pack of cars. Where do you look? So this is a battle here. We've got Warboys, Barella. This is all tucked up behind Michael Whiting. So you got Michael Whiting, Jamie Mcknight. These cars are all shuffling left, right and centre.
There's cars getting pushed off everywhere here. I just seen one of the 9.5 boys get shuffled sideways. I think maybe with Kenneth Ladder involved.
Let me just see. Let's have a quick look back here.
Oh no, it was all on his own, sorry.
Yep. Go back to live pics. And definitely all happening out there.
I'm looking out of the corner of both eyes at the moment.
And of course, the People's Champion, Jamie Mcknight here, he's
Car 334 racing.
keeping quite a cool head in the middle of all this. For some reason, they've got a race position
Go ahead,
against him.
334.
He's sitting in 7th.
Current lap, just after the chicane.
So Mcknight, he's got Warboys behind. Warboys getting up the inside of Christian Smart.
Lap 6.
So Warboys.
Copy that. Copy that, 334.
So definitely trying to work out what's going on, but a fair bit of it. As Alan Dawson and Matty Stewart here side by side. So the safety car has definitely shuffled the pack on the deck a little bit, and there's a few cards falling out. And one of the right boys, Matty Stewart, going to get around the outside of that. That's Alan Dawson did well to hang on to that one there. Absolutely sideways. And of course, this is the battle for 4th and 5th. And behind this, we've got this Michael Whiting, Mcknight, Warboys, Smart, Briggs, Island.
Yeah, Warboys just got past Christian Smart a couple of corners before, so like just ticking them off at the moment. But still some intense racing going on in this pack.
Of course, the man we haven't mentioned too much about, sitting in third place, is James Chastanoof. He's the man who's probably, with Dyke and Warboys being further back, probably putting his hand on that 2nd place trophy.
I'm not saying anything.
Long way to go still. But there's definitely a big pack behind battling, which is going to help him here stay well clear of where he needs to be. Tucked up behind Hayden Norris. And of course, Ben Morris from 9.5 out in front. And Ben wasn't too far behind, sitting there in 4th or 5th in the championship too. So then Adam Briggs, of course, just setting a purple sector lap at a 1:38.36. And then the man we're on at the moment, his last lap was a 1:38.86. So Adam Briggs is on his way up to the front, boys. Might want to get a hurry on. But Ben Morris has cleared out to a 2.5 second gap. We might jump back to that battling pack. Jump back onto the People's Champion, Mr. Mcknight. He's tucked up behind Matt Stewart, and he's got Warboys tucked up behind him. Christian Smart missing a bonnet in the middle of that, and then behind that's Adam Briggs, our Season 3 champion.
Yeah, this battle pack's about 9-10 deep at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, not sure where Gianni is this week, Will. I think he's probably got some real life racing commitments going on.
This is real life, isn't it?
It is for these boys out there. Sure, McNamara might be able to let us know what he's up to if he's in the chat still. But these boys here, too wide, coming onto the long straightaway here. All trying to negotiate this slipstream again without taking each other off. Saw plenty of that in the first race. So ladder, or Mcknight, sorry, tucked right up behind Warboys. Adam Briggs on
Jamie's
the
got
outside.
nowhere to go with his teammate on the inside there.
And of course, Briggsy nicely gets through and tucks up behind Warboys now. Big flash of the lights from Jamie.
Again, Adam Briggs showing his quality. Pretty tough start for Adam. Really didn't do anything wrong and found himself with damage and falling his way back to the world. He's already battled himself back up to 8th spot.
Let's just check in with Jamie Dyke, the other man who's in question. He's all the way back in 25th, still missing a bonnet. He got caught up in a few of the incidents as well that went on in the earlier couple of laps. So Jamie's back in 25th, which will make it quite interesting. And there's some of our other big moves and shakers. Chris Island's up 15 spots into 12th. Dengate's up 15 spots into 13th, so that's a good little comeback from Harrison. After starting rear of grid because of the accident, his engine blown in the last race. And Warboys is getting past Matt Stewart.
Adam Briggs getting a great run on that straight down.
Absolutely, pulls out alongside Warboys. Of course, looks like he's probably going to get up the inside. Warboys giving him plenty of room. Stewart still staying in there, so Briggs definitely through. It looks like Michael Whiting and Hayden Norris having a bit of a ding-dong battle there as well. We'll get rid of Blake for a second. They're definitely all happening here. These boys all caught up now in the same pack.
I don't think my abacus can calculate what's going on at the moment with all the points shuffling. All
I know is Chastity is flying, Chastity is gone. So these boys here are still 5 seconds down the road from Chastity. But it's only lap 10, we've still got 18 to go, anything can happen. Safety car will change everything. There we go, Sean McNamara saying Gianni's eating pizza and driving the Formula V. Great young talent, Gianni Lutzu, who raced last week for the 9.5 SimSport boys. Looking forward to seeing him back next season, seeing what he can do as he develops his iRacing skills. But great little battle here, Warboys and Briggs shuffling along. Dawson not laying down as we come back down the straight here for another one of these big epic slipstreams. Watch this from on board Jamie Mcknight. You can watch all the action unfold in front of him. You can see Warboys and Dawson too wide coming in. Looks like Warboys is going to get it done. Mcknight coming right up on the back here having a good look.
Yeah, good job from Blake. He's up 19 spots at the moment, so I'm sure he's feeling a lot better than what he did at the end of last race.
Absolutely. Of course, this is all playing in the hands of James Chastaneuf, who's 6-7 seconds up the road from these boys.
And then we've got Ben Morris, another 3.5 seconds up the road from James Chastaneuf. So, yeah, Ben Morris doing an outstanding job up front. Clearly got his pit strategy right, and yeah, doing a great job. Lap 11 of 28. Michael Whiting goes a bit deep.
Jump back on there. Michael Whiting comes out now with Briggs and Warboys getting past. As we head up into Panasonic. So looking for another big run down the straight here. Warboys looking to latch onto the back of Adam Briggs here, I think. And Whiting trying to hang on from his mistake.
I'm sure Blake Warboys will be looking to stay left going down this race.
Yeah, last race ended up in the wall over there on the right side. But still 3 wide coming in to turn 1 behind them. Dengate in the thick of the action there. Might just jump back on the H for a minute. So he's up 17 spots into 11th. It's a great drive from Harrison. Definitely starting to show a fair bit of maturity with his driving. And we might just check in a bit further down the back. Matt Stewart. He's under a bit of pressure here now from Simon Mesamo. And Dengate under attack here from Chris Island coming up the inside. So nice pass from Chris as we go 2 wide through the chicane. Coming up through 13th. So definitely plenty of battles everywhere.
Yeah, there's door scraping and door-to-door racing right through the field, and you don't have to be far off on this track to lose momentum and end up losing 1 or 2 places. So been a pretty good night of racing so far.
Absolutely. So Dawson now under a bit of pressure. Mcknight having a good look here, tucked up in the slipstream. Sticks his nose out into first corner. Correctly named first corner. As we now head down the hill towards Coca-Cola.
Yeah, good move there from Jamie Mcknight. Pick up another spot. So Jamie's sitting in 7th at the moment. Jamie's a great vets competitor. Does all the fixed setups for the vet series, and they're always great setups. And yeah, big thank you to Jamie for his contribution to both series here.
Of course, rolled out a drivable set that was fun to drive at Nordsliff last week. So very much appreciative of that. That would not have been easy to have done. And it wouldn't be a Tuesday night without saying Roy Clark has crashed. So we might just quickly go have a quick look at that before we get down the straight with these two. Coming down the straight here, Roy's pulled out. Just having a look, and Roy's spun. Jamie Dyke nicely misses him, so that's all right. Get back onto this Warboys Briggs battle here because they were closing the gap a little bit. Only 0.3 of a second here between these two, coming on out of Panasonic onto the main straight. Warboys getting in the draft again. See if he can make the most of it. Starting to break the toe a little bit here. Michael Whiting dropping a second and a bit back. And he's a second and a bit ahead of Mcknight and Chris Smart. So Warboys nicely tucked in behind Briggs here. Chassis in second. That's going to be the turn up for the books, I think. Interesting to see without having the abacus and being able to work out where all the drop rounds fall in. But I think Chasty, if he can stay where he is, I think may lock second to the championship in, I think.
I think Ben Morris is sitting nicely in the championship as well. So, and Ben's currently got a 4-second lead here. So
that's right, and bonuses as well for finishing higher up in the podium. So we're finishing first. So yeah, that could be Catamounts Pigeons as well. I'm going to go back to the chat. How are you, Tom? I have to agree, Tom, I loved it in the V8 when we did it here in Vets. The only thing I would do was take the chicane out when you come out of Dunlop and go straight up into 13th. It just flowed a lot nicer, sort of dropping down through the hill there and coming up where the boards are, going straight through there. And Chevo Jones is telling me that it should actually be called Roy Clark throws it away again. And all I'm going to say is it should be a case of no cash for Roy Clark. Anyway, Briggsy doing really well here. Our champion for season 3. He's pulled out the 5 seconds from Warboys. We might jump back a little bit now and have a bit look how Chris Island's getting on. You see we pretty much nose to tail running down here. Island nicely tucked up behind Mcknight. Something nice right behind Ladder and Christian Smart. Ladder moves out to get past Smart. Island going to tuck in behind, see if he can work his way through. Oh, Island's bumped shoulders of Smart. Smart's been bumped out, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Dengate having a bit of a look up here to capitalise on that little incident. So Dengate moves himself up into the top 10, starting from rear of grid in this race. So that's a fair effort from Harrison.
Yeah, great job from Harrison. Yeah, I think Chris Islands really had the elbows out in this race. I think he got short back and sides off the grid in race 1, and he's determined to make something of race 2.
Absolutely. Still not slowing down here. He's trying to size up Dengate. Come out. It's the outside there. Darren Shannon in the chat as well. So a big shout out to Darren. Looks like everyone from the Banter Alliance is ganging up on Roy, so I feel really bad now for showing that.
Dave Baldock will sort him out.
Absolutely. Have a quick look how Cameron Jones is getting on. Cameron Jones, of course, started a little bit further back. He's dropped back. He's still sitting in 16th. Ash Barella's doing reasonably well in 15th. Simon Mesmo in 14th. Dengate and Island, as we said before, 10th and 11th, they're up to 17 spots. Blake Warboys is now still sitting in 5th, tucked in behind Adam Briggs, up 20 spots. So a pretty good drive from Blake.
No. 999, no further action.
And Ben Morris is the talk of this race here. Of course, lap 16 to 28, so still a bit to go, but Ben is out to a 4.5 second lead. He's paced himself quite well. Car's looking immaculately neat and clean. The old Racecraft sponsors on the sides there, be quite happy with that one.
Absolutely, Ben doing a rock solid job. I'm still watching this battle with Dengate, Island, and Chris Smart. I think they've swapped places about 3 or 4 times on this lap already.
Jump back onto that one. We'll have a bit of watch. Of course, Chris Smart's a fairly fierce competitor as well.
A lot of experience, Christian. A great racer. Good guy to race with. Always clean. And, yeah, always fun to race with.
Doing exceptionally well tonight. Sitting up in 10th. Up 6 spots from where he started in this race. I do have a car that's off at the moment. Looks like he's going to get that going again. So we'll jump back up to Chris Martin battle as we head down the straight again, as they're all looking for a slipstream here. Chris getting away, but Dengate now caught up almost 3 wide. Stewart tucks in back behind again. Island and Dengate side by side.
This is looking like netcode just waiting to happen here.
Oh, it is. We're about to go 3 wide. I think that's Mesbo slipping up the inside there as well. Nicely getting it done.
Yeah, great move from Simon.
These boys definitely having some good racing here, which is great to see.
Christian Smart up ahead, just hoping they keep racing like this while he drives away.
Goes side by side through 300. Bit of a lock-up from Dengate. Of course, Cameron Jones wanting a bit of this as well. And, of course, as we come into Dunlop, this is a great little battle. This is bringing up behind them. It's bringing up Paul Young, McFarlane and Barella as well. So this battle's about to get a bit bigger, I think. Of course, with Corey's pace, he's not going to be scared to put the elbows out.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, everybody's pitted quite early on in the piece, so everybody's got pretty much the same tyre wear and tyre life, so I'm sure they're starting to lose plenty of grip at the moment.
Absolutely. Dengate tucked up in the draft here. Okay, so the inside, which is an interesting move. Tries to defend that. Big mover in this group here. Cameron Jones is definitely having a crack here as well. As you said, this has brought McFarlane and Young under the back of this group. So definitely some entertaining driving.
Blake Warboys has got in front of Adam Briggs.
Well, I was just looking for that one. That was a interesting pass. Quickly in the replay. Yep, coming down the main straight out of the slipstream. Course tyre wear would be an issue as well. Ben Gate, we just heard, made a mistake somewhere in the middle there. Not sure if that was it there. Yeah, definitely Century Motors. Oh, there we go. Corey McFarlane hit the big sausage curb there. We saw him get airborne. There's Paul Young now having a bit of a look up the inside with Matty Stewart. Bit of a drag race. Dengate coming out. Barella coming out on the inside of McFarlane. Hopefully McFarlane doesn't sustain damage from that curb. We might jump back up the front. Michael Whiting still under a bit of pressure here from the one and only Jamie Mcknight. So I think we might have a stopped car, have we? No, he's got it going. Go back up to Mcknight. So Mcknight and Whiting. Kenny Ladder hanging on to the back of this group. These two wily drivers, they've battled for a long time. They'll be used to driving around each other. Ladder trying to have a look up the inside here. It's a great move from Kenny. Whiting manages to pick the line and hold off. This is allowing Knight to drive away from them.
Big wide track by the look of it. Like I said, I haven't driven this track, but it seems like quite wide and a couple of different lines you can pick through here.
Yeah, that's one of the things about it. You got some good width. As we jump back to Kenny and Whiting side by side. Kenny looks like he's going to get the job done here. Jump back up the Warboys. Warboys still under pressure from Briggs. A good recovery from Blake Warboys, starting well down the order. Started back in 25th. He's up 21 spots here to be into 4th. Definitely battled his way back. James Chastanoof. I think he's just about got one hand on a podium trophy, as we said, still sitting in second. Lap 20 of 28. I don't think so, Shervo. We'll have a quick look at some lap times anyway, so we can see what their last lap times were. Last lap times, so Chasty's going around with a 139.1, Warboys is a 138.8. Warboys might be able to chase down Norris, but I don't think he'll get as far as Chasty with 7 to go. But anything can happen. Adam Briggs is looking like he's going to line him up here.
If Blake and Adam have pulled back about 2 seconds on Ben Morris over the last 3 laps, so I don't think that it's not enough to bring them back.
Nah, not that far up. Sean McNamara, I reckon Warboys can get the chassis. Good to see the 9.5 boys throwing a bit of salt towards the BAR guys. It's very close.
Yeah, looking on camera, it's not as far as it looks on the timing monitor. So, yeah, I think they can probably get to him. Whether they can get past him or not, I don't know.
That's another story.
Yeah, it only takes one slight error to be able to make up a full second, and then you know you're almost there. So interesting times ahead.
Well, boys can see him, so that's...
Yeah, I think looking at this lap, I just see him clawing back time hand over fist at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely closing the gap. Darren Shannon saying that he reckons Briggsy will be past Warboys and Adam. So there's Delta in the last couple of laps there, so he's been closing in.
So Blake's 0.8 of a second quicker on that lap. So.
Yeah. He'll definitely be in the slipstream next time by.
Sure, Hayden Norris is not going to make it easy for anybody.
No. Michael Whiting's just had an incident. He was in that pack before that we were talking about. Hayden Norris just exited stage left. That just opened the door straight up the chassis. Just trying to see what happened to Norris. Hayden Norris. Could we go to the replay on that one to see what happened?
Yeah, I think he just got caught out.
Just got caught wide. Yeah, caught wide. Going through 300R. That's a little bit disappointing. He was driving really well to be up that fire.
I didn't say anything this time.
No. 25. Got a car stopped. I'm just going to try and pick up who that is. Engine's
Nash,
running.
I think.
The engine's running.
Car 911.
No, it's called for the tow.
Yeah, 911, yeah, cleared the tow.
Cleared the tow. He's well and truly off, safely behind the barriers. They've left him alone on that one. So let's get back up here. This is where it matters now. This is the Warboys chassis battle. Adam Briggs with the box seat watching this one. So go back to that lap delta, still closing in. Brought it back to half a second in the last lap. So he needs to do that for the next 3 laps. He'll be on him by the end.
Ben Morris's lead is reduced to about 6.5 seconds at the moment.
That's closing in a little bit too. Chastity's hunting him down. I reckon the BAR boys, I reckon they would be about as nervous as watching Dave Baldock walk up to mount a horse.
We know how that ends.
Absolutely. So still a long way to go here. Briggs might be happy sitting behind, but he's a racer as well, and results don't matter to him in this one, so he's just as likely to put his head down and have a go as well. See if he can get himself on the podium for this race. Of course, 9.5 Sim Sports, Ben Morris is 4.8 seconds ahead of this battle. Chastity looks like he's done a little bit quicker this lap. See what happens when we go over the stripe.
So 5 laps to go. Ben Morris has still got a 6 second lead, 6.3 seconds.
There's only 0.28 that time, the gap closed. Absolutely, Stephen Murray, Tom Free letting out the secret there, reckons that Briggsy's just in there watching watching these boys battle it out for second and third. I reckon that's probably true too. I reckon Adam's smart enough to just enjoy the drive. But War Boys, as we have a look here, quick jump back here. Kenny Ladder, of course, he's putting all sorts of pressure on his teammate Mcknight. But War Boys still got Briggs 0.25 seconds behind. But closing down this gap in front, the Chastaneuf. Gap is almost under a second. And comes back out a little bit through this section of the track. I think if we can get that gap under a second, then the slipstream will start coming into play, which will drag him along to it. But of course, all these boys as well, the tyres are now going to be about 23 laps old as well. So War Boys has been driving hard to catch him, so that may also affect his tyres a bit as well.
Yeah, these two are pretty evenly matched at the moment. Adam's got a good run out of the last corner. He's sitting in the draft, so he might make a move here.
War Boys is now under a second onto Chastaneuf.
I think Adam shows his intentions there, that he's happy to watch the boys in front battle it out unless he gets a free kick like he's almost got there.
War Boys going a little bit wide. And lets Briggs through. Yeah, hopefully War Boys might tuck in behind Briggs here and get a free ride up to Chastaneuf.
It'll be interesting now to see what sort of pace Adam's got. Champion-elect, had an outstanding season. He's been in the box with us a few times after races having a chat. He's a great young guy.
So of course he's just gone purple sector for sector 1. But definitely closing that gap down to 0.7 seconds. Sector 2, he's reined him in 0.27. Of course, been tucked up behind War Boys for most of the battle as well, so 0.4. Definitely be getting the advantage of the toe this time down the straight. In the meanwhile, Ben Morris is still 5.5 seconds up the road.
3 laps ago, I'm wondering if Briggs is thinking now, well, I may as well just throw caution to the wind and go for the win.
Looking at Chasty here, has a bit of a, shows the nose inside. War Boy's nicely tucked in underneath. This will be great pressure for Chasty here. Stephen Murray agreeing with us about the class of Adam at the moment. It's great to see. Yeah, Chast. He defends. Briggs is looking as we come around right up behind him. War Boys goes way out onto the outside. Briggs up the inside here at Dunlop. War Boys looking for a quicker line as these two battle. War Boys sticks his nose up the inside here on Chasty. Coming up through the 13th. Chasty tucks in behind. So Briggs is 3 for second. War Boys is into third. Chasty in 4th.
I think that's pretty smart from Chasty there. I think he's consolidated his place in the championship with the last race and everybody else falling over behind him. So I think he really just needs to race smart for his last couple of laps and just really cement his position in the top 3 of the championship, which will be an awesome effort for him, I would say.
I think we're still going to need an abacus though to see where this all falls out, of course.
Well, Jamie Dyke's sitting down in 20th at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just Ben,
Yeah,
Morris.
I
Ben
haven't
Morris is the one for me, just how it affects him having such a good result in this race. That's the only one. I just don't know how that's going to pan it all out. But definitely Adam Briggs, tick, done and dusted. I think Chastity and Warboys will be hard to knock out of that top three, but yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. Tom Frere agreeing that Adam's a good bloke. Absolutely. And you see Warboys has got another battle in him here, take another spot. I don't think he will get past Briggs. Have to agree, Stephen, yeah. Warboys really needs to pass Briggs to maximise his points for this race. Of course, being a podium position, there's extra points up for grabs.
He also doesn't want to throw anything away either now that he's done all this hard work.
So we'll just recap as we start the white flag lap. Ben Morris is our man leading the race at the moment. He's 5.5 seconds up the road from Adam Briggs and Warboys. These two boys here battling. Warboys having a look up the inside of Briggs. Side by side. A little bit loose coming out for Briggs. First time I've seen the car step sideways, but he manages to get away from Warboys. Sean McNamara, the team boss, getting nervous. One to go. Ben Morris. Drove a very good race, Sean, so hopefully he doesn't fall off now. Got a stopped car, 2 stopped cars on track. We'll worry about them a bit later.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Morris, outstanding job. Like, great drive tonight. He's really, really done an excellent job in this race. He's made no mistakes. He's got his strategy spot on. He's done everything right. Thoroughly deserves a win. And shame he was so far out in front and didn't get more camera time.
But here he is now, Mr. Morris, as he comes up towards Panasonic for the final time.
Really only had himself to, to battle. It was all against himself tonight, and he's come up trumps.
And well done, Ben Morris, on winning the second race in his first race at the East Coast Series. Fantastic effort.
Congratulations, Ben. Good drive from, well, not good drive, great comeback from Adam Briggs. And Blake Warboy's up 22 spots.
In third.
Can't say anything more than that.
Absolutely. Chastity came in fourth. Hayden Norris in fifth. And absolute class drive from all of our top boys tonight. I think the guys have done really well considering being a sprint race, and we haven't had too many incidents that I'd probably say a major driver error. Just been tipped off that Dengate had an off, so we'll have a quick look at that. Spun himself. That's the answer to that one for you, Stephen. And we might jump back on with Ben. Absolutely cracking drive from Ben Morris. That's the end of season 3, Mark.
It's been a great season, John. Like, we've just had so much good racing, and it's been an honour to call these boys go around each Tuesday night. They've executed the racing extremely well. Really looking forward to season 14. Yeah, just super stoked to see Ben Morris get a win tonight. And Adam Briggs, what can you say? What a deserving champion that boy is. He's really, well, he's not a boy, he's a man, but he's really done everything right all season. Virtually zero mistakes, like his execution has been second to none. Blake Warboy's done a great job tonight. I'd be really interested to see where the championship standings are after that race, because that safety car really threw a cat amongst the pigeons.
It absolutely did, and we got the championship man himself, Mr. Barella. How are you, Ash?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Good. You haven't done those points yet, have you?
Nah, it still hasn't shown up yet. I've got to wait till they register. So here they are. I'll be able to do them now.
No worries. Well, we'll have a chat to the boys. We'll bring them in one by one. We'll have a quick chat. We'll start with Adam Briggs.
Oh, man.
Mr. Champion, how are you?
Thanks, John. Yeah, no, good. That was... on paper, Fuji was like one of the most mundane, bore-a-thon tracks. And then you drive it and you think, oh, that's complicated and there's going to be no passing and it's going to be single lane. And then when you race it, it's the complete opposite.
Absolutely.
I was saying to John during the broadcast, I haven't driven a car around here, but it looks wide, and it looks like there's a couple of different lines you can actually take in some places to gain position. So yeah, it was a great night of racing. There was some really great battles, and your comeback in that second race was excellent.
Well, even the first race, pitting, I was sort of thought, well, I can afford to be a bit experimental, so I'll have a crack. But yeah, no, it was pretty good. Yeah, racing. I didn't think Fuji would be this good for wheel-to-wheel action. It was amazing. So I was pretty anti-Fuji. I was looking at it on the calendar, going, oh, that's a bit dreary. Nah. And then I didn't do any laps on the track until pre-qual yesterday, and it was like, oh, yeah, this might have something. And then tonight's just been amazing. So yeah, it's lots of under and overs. It's been really good. So
Yeah, I think the undulation of the track is what catches everybody out. So
yeah, it's got that Newcastle go-kart track sort of vibe about it.
Settle down, Mark. Settle down, Mark. Another Novocastrian.
Oh yeah, Novocastrians. Here we go.
Yeah, it's got that Mount Sugarloaf or whatever it is, sort of
Yeah, Mount
vibe about it.
Sugarloaf. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, especially with the way it sort of it sort of ascends up the hill in the final sort of sector as well. Sort of reminds me a lot of the last sector of Newcastle going anti-clockwise. So anyway, it's been a good year, and it's I like to thank all the competitors and everyone for putting on the event. Series don't happen without officials and broadcasters and admin crew and people taking entries and people writing rule books and all that sort of background stuff. So thank you very much to those guys.
That's all right, mate. And better do the big team shout out, and you better get it right too, because it's like chat tonight's just been full of SSR people.
Tell me about it. So I'd like to thank obviously Wave Runner Performance Center, Smith & Sons, JK Signs, Dr. Epoxy, all the crew at Synergy Sim Racing, Too Easy Finance, West End Mazda, Possie's Mechanical, Dave Oliver Photo, DM Photography as well. All those guys really get it done. So thank you very much. The whole team's been building marvelous sets between James and Jared and Tom and Jordan all year. So to have that resource available to you to just pick out a set and sort of develop it for each round is really good. So I'd like to thank all those guys.
It's good, mate. We'll bring you now.
Before we go, Johnny,
Yep.
we'll do the formation part. So Briggsy, you are the season 3 super cheap East Coast champion, and there'll be $100 Supercheap gift card your way.
You beauty. Cool. That's excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Supercheap Auto.
Mate.
Absolutely. Who do I bring in next, Ash?
Second place is James Chastanuth.
I'm really stoked for that one. That's great
So am
work.
I. Mr. Chastanuth, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
You've got a big fan following in the chat tonight, so you better make sure you say everything right.
Yeah, shout out to Dave.
Before we go too far, though, James, well done on a second place in the Supercheap Auto East Coast Season 3 Championship standings.
Ah, beautiful.
And there's $75 Supercheap Auto gift card coming your way.
Oh, awesome. Cheers, guys. Thanks for that. Yeah, don't think I really did too much this season in the way of being right up at the front. But yeah, I guess just hanging around in the top 10 seems to get the job done.
Consistency was the key.
Yeah, it's it's really all you got when you don't have the pace. So as long as you can just put every race together, you can just ignore it. So yeah, it's been a good series. Yeah, it's kind of funny trying to take this series less serious. Obviously, not trying to take anyone out or anything, but have a bit of fun, and race as hard as I can without ruining anyone else's season. But yeah, it seems to work out quite well. So yeah, cheers everyone. Cheers to you guys running the broadcast and running the league.
That's all right, mate, and well driven tonight too. I think you were under a fair bit of pressure there coming home at the end.
Yeah, I was just trying to see how long I could hold them. I didn't think early on that I'd actually be able to hold them off, and then yeah, when they seemed to take a little bit longer getting through the traffic than I thought, and then yeah, if it was sort of looked like if I could put in my best laps, I might be able to hold them off, but yeah, I just couldn't be that consistent. It was they were just too quick, and by the time they caught me, they had way more grip. So yeah, I don't know if maybe they were looking after their tyres better or something, but yeah, no, they were mega fast, and yeah, credit to Ben who got the win as well. He was absolutely flying.
Absolutely, and
Well done, James. You didn't do too much wrong because you finished second in the championship. So you said you didn't have the pace, but you clearly race smart. So well done, mate.
Yeah, cheers, man. Yeah, I guess that's it at the end of the day, especially when you're looking championship picture. You try not to go for those low percentage moves to try and get the win, and yeah, you can sometimes you can get up at the front at the end of the championship by staying out of the nonsense. So I think that's pretty much what happened in this series. But yeah, no, I guess it's a little bit fortunate as well. Sometimes you get taken out and it's completely out of control. So yeah, can't really think of an occasion where that happened in this series. So yeah, it was a bit lucky, I think. But yeah, it was pretty good.
I'll let you give the big shout out. Just bearing in mind you've got quite a few in the chat, so you better get it right.
Yeah, big thanks to the Banter Alliance. I've got a couple of locked on boys as well in the chat. Race the F4s with at the moment as well. So yeah, big shout out to those guys as well. Shout out to Dave, who's always in the chat. I don't know why he doesn't race. I reckon he should race more. Old mate Andrew Rishi, he should have raced tonight as well. I reckon he was probably in the chat as well. So yeah, thanks for your support, as well as Darren as well. I don't know why Darren wasn't racing, but yeah.
I think they were all supporting you where they were.
Yeah, and then shout out to our sponsors, VFS, Vehicle Finance Solutions, TR Wichello Constructions, One Sport, LGC Images, Kathy's Pets Portraits, Grand View Remedial Massage, and yeah, cheers guys, thank you.
That's good, mate.
Not a problem.
Well done, mate.
And what we might do is we might drag all three of them in, Ash, because we don't really know where it sits between the next three of them. So I'll just drag them all in. First of all, Ben, congratulations on winning, mate.
Thank you.
Great drive, Ben. Really happy for you to get that win, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved. And Mac has been chuffed in the chat, crossing his fingers the whole race. So I've just dragged in Jamie Dyke and Blake Warboys as well, Ash. So because this is where the battle's going to lie out for third spot in the championship. So,
yeah, in the third place, unfortunately, with a bit of a misfortune with Jamie Dyke in that last race, third place does end up with Blake Warboys, 13 points behind James Chasnooth for third place. So the third place this season for Supercheap Auto East Coast Series is Blake Warboys, and there's a $30 gift card coming your way, mate, from Supercheap.
Awesome. Congratulations, mate. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, great battles all season with everyone. So. Yeah, pretty chuffed to be top 3 in the first 3 seasons so far in the championship. So, yeah, pretty happy.
Oh, that's good, and big shout out to you, Jamie. It's been great having the Fishy boys well and truly involved this season, and good luck for the Logitech G Pro Series, which kicks off again next Wednesday night.
Thanks, man. Yeah, very happy with the series. If I didn't make some unforced errors at Sandown and race 2 tonight, of what could have been, but that's racing. Team loves it. We'll be here season 4, no doubt.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. Of course, season 4 with some new sponsors as well, with West End Motor Group and DC Shades as well. So season 4 is definitely shaping up to be a very big season as well. So if you haven't signed up, peoples, make sure you sign up in the next couple of weeks, because it all kicks off in the second week of September. So,
Can I
yeah.
just ask Ben a quick question?
Yeah.
You clearly had a great pit stop because you seemed to jump a few people there. Just curious as to how you managed that.
Well, just tyres, but I think I probably took advantage of a little bit of a touch up following Jamie and Corey, and so just took the advantage there and managed to get out in front. So you got to take those opportunities when they pop up.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Well done. Do you want to give a quick shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, look, I wish I had them listed. I never come prepared because I'm never in the chat.
Hackers on the chat.
Racecraft, obviously, Cutting Edge Tracks, 95 Sim Sport team, absolutely fantastic in their support and what they do for all of us within the group. We've also got Fox Suicide and Racing Ears as well as our sponsors. So, yeah, really. Really big shout out for the support those guys have and for the team as well. Lucky to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask a quick question of Jamie Dyke here. Jamie, do you know why Michael Whiting pitted so late in the first race?
No, actually, I have no idea.
Okay.
Me and Blake are kind of in our own thing up the front.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Rest
Yeah.
of the boys were doing.
Rest of the boys things. Yeah, that's all right. I just thought I'd just ask a question because Mark and I were sort of scratching our heads of what was going on. Seb's also joined us as well. Anyone you want to give a shout out for your team too, Jamie, while we've still got you in here?
Just all the boys. We've been pushing real hard and it's been showing. It's been good. Logitech series in East Coast, Taipan, this year we've all done awesome and stepped up our game. So well done, boys.
Of course, it was great to see on the socials so many of the fishy boys down at Sandown on the weekend too. I thought that was pretty fantastic.
I was unconscious every night that weekend.
Yeah, so that pretty well much, unless Seb's got something he wants to say.
Not hugely, but oh my god, some of that racing in that race too. Wow, that was incredible.
Absolutely.
We were just absolutely blown away. I did not give a single penalty out in race 2 at all, and I think that was the easiest post-race penalties post I've had to do all season long. So big congratulations to everyone that's been racing this season. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch everyone develop and grow and race against each other, and you just see that how the quality of the racing has developed, and to see so many battles with 4, 5, 6 cars all going into corners and moving around each other and all giving each other the space to get through it cleanly. And it was just brilliant. So very, very enjoyable way to end the season. So congratulations, everyone.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, mate, for the work you do. And I know it's not easy dealing with disgruntled drivers at times, but you've handled yourself really well, mate, and done such a fantastic job. And with this series, we're all volunteers. It's not a paid series, anything else. So it's appreciative of the support that we get from the drivers, from yourself and everybody else for what we do, including yourself with that support.
Thank you. It's good fun, and I'm very much looking forward to season 4. So you're not getting rid of me that easy. I'll be back.
And just one final one for me, obviously, admin side of things. As Johnny said, Seb, I can't thank you enough. Obviously, Johnny and Mark for the broadcast each week. It's so easy to just blow it aside and just do a half-wrap broadcast, but you just do a top job, and the views are getting up there and the drives are coming, and that's the main thing. So can't thank you boys enough, and have a couple nights off, and we'll see you back on the 12th.
Absolutely. And any last words from you, Mark?
No, it's been a great season. Some really, really good racing, as everybody's alluded to. Couple of teams punching above their weight. SSR, obviously, with Adam and Tom and Jordan and all the James Scott, clearly the teams to beat. But Fishy boys punched above their weight this season. Same with WK&P, and also the Banner Alliance boys. Like really showed that being in a small team is not a big disadvantage. You just got to work and work and work and not make mistakes, and things come to you. So yeah, really enjoyable season. Looking forward to next season.
Absolutely. We're back next season, and big congratulations to Briggsy again, and from everybody involved with the league and the drivers and everyone else. Good night, and we'll see everybody back for season 4. Not all.